Let's see, should I do this? Very good, very good. Here we go. So today, welcome everyone back. My name is Brian Christian Jenkins. I'm here with Brian Winston. We're giving Shelly a bit of a break today. She's been pushing hard. As you know, she is a woman who does not stop. I won't say where she is in the world in case she does not want that information out there because she's popular. But today, we're going to continue the conversation around this men's mental health conference that's coming up in April in Orlando, April 19th. And this is all about men's mental health. And we want to have the conversation because we want to be able to get 100 men in there to share an experience that's going to help them along their own path. I just want to put this caveat out here because a lot of men can get sometimes a little bit, uncomfortable with the idea about another man telling them how to be a man. Can't tell you how to be a man. We can't tell you how to be a good man. We can't tell you how to be anything. But what we can do is create an environment, an opportunity for you to come into a space that's accepting, that's inviting, that's non-judgmental. We can learn different tools from professionals like Brian Winston. And we have a long list of people out there who are bringing their expertise to create this opportunity for you to decide what kind of man it is you want to be. All right. So today we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into a topic a little bit more about what Brian's going to bring to the conference. He's going to be one of our speakers here, coming from New York, right?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful, yes, beautiful. So we're going to show we're going to give a nice Southern welcome to let them know that that we welcome all New Yorkers here. And so without further ado, Brian, before I actually go into giving you some space to share what it is you're going to bring and what kind of techniques that the men can learn from at the conference, the question I'm asking all the men here: when someone tells you iron sharpens iron, what does that mean to you?
It's like two. The visual that I get right away is like two axes, like against one another. Like like if you have like a knife sharpener, those knife sharpeners, and it has the two things like that, and you pull the knife through it. That's what I think of. And it's like two sharp surfaces, two strong surfaces that rub up against one another in order to improve one another. That's what I think of when I think of iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So it's not like one is weak and one is strong, and the strong one is sharpening the weak one, or it's not like that.
Right.
It's two strong surfaces that are coming, two strong sharp surfaces that are coming together for the benefit of one another. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Now, how would you see that in the context of two men? Because that's when we're talking about men. Iron sharpens iron. This is what the call is. The call is bringing 100 men out there. I don't even want to say in the Central Florida area, but wherever they want to come in the world. And what, in the context of a man, what would you give an example of what that could look like?
Well, you know what? It could look like a few different things, really. To be honest with you, like power is not always. It doesn't always look the same way, right? Like sometimes power looks like could be aggressive, right? But sometimes power is not aggressive at all. Sometimes power is just listening, right? So when two strong individuals come together, those things could look like it could be very gentle. There's a very gentle way of doing it in sharpening, and it's a very there's another way that's probably a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more abrasive. So it could look like a few different things actually.
Yeah, I love that answer because
I
one
can
way
give you
to.
I can give you an
Go.
example.
Please.
So in my coaching sessions, right? When I coach someone, sometimes it's appropriate for me to confront someone. Sometimes it's appropriate. Hey, listen, this is what I'm seeing, and it may be difficult for me to share with you, but this is what I'm seeing. Do I have your permission to share what I'm seeing? Right? It could be like that, and sometimes it could just be me listening and asking a question that helps someone to see themselves more clearly. Right. So one is in your face, and this is what I see. This is something that I think is challenging, that I think you should hear. And the other one is really just listening and being there. And both of them are ways that I can help someone to improve themselves. right? So
Yeah.
that's what it
Right.
could look like.
I love you gave those two examples of like almost a more kind of softer approach and what we call maybe a harder approach, more confronting approach. Because to me, what I see in the world is we do not know how to confront each other when it comes to men, right? We're either going full force with all of our aggressivity, with all our anger in your face, or we
Mm-hmm.
shy and shrink away somewhere, right? And so the idea of in this conference saying iron sharpen iron, it could be, sharpening iron through being vulnerable. It could be sharpening your iron through sharing stories. It could be honestly saying, "Hey, brother, look, I'm just seeing something in you. Like this is a reflection. I don't know if it's true or not. You don't have to accept my truth, but this is what I see. And I'm telling you this because I want the best for you. Because you told us what you're here to do. You told us, what's important to you. You told us what's at stake here. So I'm going to give you this reflection that may be hard to hear, but trust. I'm not saying this because I want to bring you down. I want you to just to recognize that and just you do with it what you want, right? And that's exactly
Right. And that statement that you share, let's say if we continue with that analogy, right? That statement that you share could be something that is beautiful about them that maybe they don't see. Maybe you don't see, I don't think you see this, and I think it may be a challenge of you to hear it, but I think you're actually a great father. I think you're trying your very best. I think you're a beautiful person. I think that you really love your parents. I think that you really love your wife. I think that you really love your children. And I think that you're really being hard on yourself here. That could be the reflection. And it may be difficult for that man to hear that, but it may be the truth. Or it could be that, you know what, I don't think you are showing up the way that you could really show up. Right. So it's not just about hard or soft or in your face or not. It's like I want you to see something that maybe you don't see that I think is important for you to see.
Yeah, Ryan, that follow up is gold there because, I don't know about your experience, but my experience, most of my life, I'm about to be 42, April 3rd. So you guys can see the early birthday shout outs.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Is most of my life, I didn't have that balance of men being able to say those things to me.
Right.
If like you said, hey, I don't think you're showing up to your best potential, I probably would have taken that offensively. I probably would have shut down. I probably would have said, why are you trying to bring me down? I probably would have gotten my feelings about it, as opposed to saying, no, this man is seeing something in me because he respects me, because he wants to see me succeed, because he wants me to thrive. He's going to take the risk in just reflecting that to me. But we have to understand and build that trust with each other. And that's exactly what we're going to get at the Iron Sharpens Iron Conference, April 19th in Orlando, is that opportunity to even hear the things that someone hasn't even told you. Like, brother, like, I don't know if you know this, but I see you show up for your kids, for your wife,
Right.
for your business. You are holding a lot. What if we give you space right now just to put that down for just 2 minutes? Can you put that down? Has anyone ever invited you to do that, right? And some men haven't because I was to be hard with you, keep on digging in and digging in and digging in,
Right. And so iron sharpens iron could look like a lots of different things, and it's what's appropriate for that person at that point, right? Maybe someone needs to hear hard truth, but that hard truth can be that you're beautiful and you're beautiful and perfect just the way that you are, brother. Or it could be that, listen, I don't think you're doing what you really need to be doing. I think that there's a gap between where you're at and where you want to be, right? And I think that it's important for you to see that, right? So yeah, so I love that, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So let's turn back to you now. Before we go into why you're actually decided to come down, from cold, harsh, concrete jungle New
Oh,
York down
oh,
to
here we go.
sunny. You
Here
saw
we
a little
go.
jab, right? Saw the jab, right?
Yeah, I see what you did
Just tell us a little about what is that you're doing. You're talking about your clients. I know you do leadership coaching. You use NLP techniques, and I love the way you frame this for your clients. I mean, I'm getting a feel for who you are. So just give us an idea of like what it is that you're doing for your clients out there.
Well, you asked why I wanted to do this. If I'm 100 with you, if I'm honest with you, I really respect Shelly. I really respect her very much, and I respected the conversation. We've had a couple conversations, and I respected the way that she framed this. And she framed this as she wanted to create space. She wanted to create a space for men, right? Where men could help strengthen one another. And when I heard that, that really inspired me. That really inspired me, right? So I can tell you about what I do. I can tell you about how I help people. But if I'm 100 with you, why I want to show up to this because I was really inspired by her and how she showed up and how she talked about what she wanted to create. And I said, I'd love to be a part of that. I'm all into that. I would love to be. I think this is our first men's conference. I think this is our first one. I really wanted to
Correct. Yeah.
support that.
Uh huh. Uh
I
huh.
think that's dope. I think we're coming into I think we're coming into a time where things are changing, and they're changing quickly, right? And we're starting to. I think what's appearing is a new way of being a man in this world, right? We talk. There's been a lot of talk over the past few years about toxic masculinity, right? And that's fair. That's fair, right? So I think what's coming from that is we're coming to understand ourselves in a different way and what it really does mean to be a man. And I think people like me and you, from what I'm hearing, um, we're we're on the cutting edge of that, right? We really, I do the work. I'm sure it sounds like you do the work on yourself. I do the work on myself, and the work I do on myself is the work that I want to see that work translate out to other people. When I work on myself, right? When I work on my clients, I'm really working on all of us, right? So to be 100 honest with you, like, I was really inspired by what Shelly told me. It's not about what I think I could provide. I mean, to be honest, when I work with clients, I just sit with brilliant people. I sit with brilliant people and I give them the space to be brilliant, right? And I've learned how to do that. I've gained that skill to be able to do that, to be able to create insight. So, but it's not as much about that as I was really inspired by what she shared with me and how she showed up to that call. So I'll say, hell yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. She had definitely a similar effect on myself as well. Um, so I want to come back, and I'm gonna actually push you to loving yourself and to give yourself up a little
Yeah,
bit, right?
yeah,
Because so what can be challenging is, I agree with you that we are in a new transition from a societal standpoint, cultural standpoint, that earth life is asking for a new type of masculinity to come through. And
right,
my belief is that every single man wants to tap into that in some kind of
right,
way, in their own way, but they may not understand how to do that. Maybe don't trust what it can look like.
mm,
Sometimes, as you know, when you're talking about going from point A to point B, it's hard to let go of, to release some things to get to where we want to be, right? But
right,
obviously, if not obviously, but if you're going to want to rise, you have to let some things go. And sometimes that can be hard for
right,
people, especially men with our pride. So
right.
in what way can you see, a man come into your space at this conference and you helping and give him that opportunity, that opportunity to practice, just to be himself authentically without trying to be anything, or if you have a technique that you could kind of point a little bit of the preview, give a little bit of taster of what that could look
Right.
like for a man to be able to let that go down.
Right. Yeah, so I was taking a look at it. I saw some of the other presenters, right? I think there's an author or two on there. I think there's a therapist on there. There's a meditation person on there. Someone I think who is actually there's probably a couple people that are actually speakers. Um, and then they're gonna come up and they're gonna share something. They're gonna share something that's an insight that they've had, or they're gonna share a story, and they're gonna be able to do that in a very eloquent and beautiful way, and in a very powerful way. What I offer people is a mirror, a really clear mirror, right? So my technique is to be able to create space where I can ask you very clear questions and give you the chance to answer those questions truthfully, right? So that's what I do. I ask questions. So a lot of it has to do with journaling prompts. So there may be a guided meditation thrown in there, but my intent is to raise consciousness. My intent. Every problem that you have is a consciousness problem, right? So at the level of consciousness, the way you're seeing things, your perspective, once you rise in consciousness, those things are no longer problems, right? Those are in the past. So when I have a one-on-one or when I have a group of people, what I want to do is I want to help you to gain an awareness of who you really are. And that's done through questions. Questions like, what do you really want? What for? Who do you have to be in order to achieve that? What's in the way? Is that really in the way? I think questions like that. I think if you spend some time with them, if you spend some really honest time with those questions, they help you to see things a little bit more clearly. I think so. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is getting a room full of men together and really asking them some really pointed questions, giving them the space to investigate themselves. Like, I can't tell you who you are. I can't, 'cause I don't know who you are. Even if you're my brother, I don't know who you are, right? But you know who you are, or at least you know who you think you are, right? And all your problems and all of your triumphs come from your self identity. So I want you to be able to very clearly see who that is, right? So we can help you move through some of the challenges you're having towards what you want, away from what you don't want.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Now, For the men out there who may not understand actually what that means, because we're really good at going for the things. If we have the job, we have the wife, we have the money, we have the businesses, we have our social networks, we have our things. It may be difficult for someone to say, well, Brian, I hear what you're saying about consciousness. I hear you saying about, being able to reflect me back to you, but things are actually going pretty good in my life. So how is it I can see something or how can I connect with something that I may have a problem with if everything around me says I'm doing good? Like, what can you point me to?
Well, if things are going well, then what you doing here, bro? What are we talking about? It's almost like listen, if everything's going great, that's great, and I'm going to celebrate that. I think it's wonderful. And then it could be about, well, how do we improve on what's already great? Like it doesn't have to be digging through the dirt, right? It doesn't have to be about, oh, I'm at the bottom, I'm hitting rock bottom. What do I do to get up? Even if you're at the top, there's still more, right? We're still here. Like, so, okay, so great. So you've been successful. So what does it mean for you to get to the next level? What's that look like for you, right? Um, there's a funny thing about a meme that I saw where guys at the doctor's office and the doctor's like, said, so how you doing, Jim? And Jim goes, oh yeah, I'm doing fine. And he goes, well, get the hell out of my office then, right?
Yeah,
So,
but
right.
what you said something, bro. What I really like that. It's oftentimes when when you hear about mental health, especially men and masculinity, that's not for me. At least that was me. I'd say if you talked to me about 7 years ago and earlier, doing personal development, joining men's group, men's teams, diving in and having these reflections, have these honest conversations. That's for guys who just don't have their stuff together. I have my stuff together. I have my MBA. I have my accomplishments. I have my things. Like, what are you talking to me for? So for me, when I was going through that process, it took me getting into almost hitting my version of my rock bottom, which was after my first marriage. It was only my only marriage so far at that point in time. Chasing things. I was living in Spain, trying to make money, trying to find a job, trying to make sense of what this looks like now to this next iteration of my life. Going to marry a Spanish woman, having a wedding here in Spain, having a wedding here in Orlando. And it was just too much. And so we talked about, well, what was that identity that I was carrying? See, I was carrying that identity of perfection. Like I had this idea of what this should have looked like. And although I was doing the things, opened my first business in Spain, going to marry a beautiful woman, going to have 2 weddings, creating a life in a different country, all the things were there, but there's something wrong with my internal compass. My internal compass wasn't ringing true with what I see on the outside. And so had I been, able to see someone like yourself, which I did about 7 years ago, personally, and just give these reflections back to me, say, Brian, so I'm hearing that you're saying everything is going well. So why are you here? And those are the things that, again, both the Brians can't tell you, or anyone at the conference can't tell you what's wrong, because it may not be the question about being wrong. It's just, what's that next level for you? Are you in an environment? Are you around people who are challenging you to just see something differently? Who are willing to have
Right.
those honest reflections, those heartfelt reflections, to love on you in a way that you haven't been loved on before, right? Has that ever happened? Because that could open up something for you. And that's exactly what's going to happen at this conference, April 19th in Orlando. Again, so we're not here to try to pick in and dig in your skeletons and dig in your closet and try to find something wrong with you, because you're perfect the way you are. The question is, if you have a calling with you, only you can answer that question. If you do, if there's something that says, you know what, I have the things, but there's something that just doesn't feel like it's aligning, something that feel like it's missing, then this is where you need to be. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know if you want to add on to that, B.
Look, Kobe used to get to practice early and stay late. When he was the best player in the league, he was doing that, right? So, yeah, you're at the top of the game, but like that doesn't mean that you're done playing. Like, don't like there's always a next level, right? There's always a next level. So, and even in my own private practice, I work with high performers. I'm not working with people who are broken people. I'm not working with your cousin Ray Ray and Junebug and them, right? I'm working with people who get it in, and they're looking to get to what that next thing is. They want to recognize that next thing, because that's the thing about being a high performer, is you want to get to the next thing, right? And maybe that's the problem in and of itself, right? Maybe you're chasing the next thing when the thing is right here in front of you. It's funny, man. The other day, I told this on my Instagram stories the other day. Um, I had the opportunity to take a nap with my daughter. I have a 3-year-old daughter. She'll be 3 in a month. Actually, she'll be 3 the week before the conference. So on the 12th is her birthday, and we I had the opportunity to take a nap with her in the middle of the day, and we're laying there and she's falling off to sleep, and I start thinking about my goals. Start thinking about things I want to get done and money I want to make and clients I want to get. And then something was like, what the fuck are you doing, Brian? Like, like I started doing after affirmations. I'm laying there with this beautiful 3-year-old young lady, right? This beautiful baby. And I'm sitting there thinking about the future. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, enjoy right now. Enjoy this thing right here, right now, right? This doesn't. She'll never be this size again, ever. One day she'll be too big to be laying in bed with you. She'll have friends and she'll have boyfriends and husbands, and one day this won't be here anymore. So maybe it's not about chasing that thing out there. Maybe it's about really enjoying where you're at right here, right this very second, and being more present, right? If you're always chasing what's out there, you never get that. There's always going to be out there. So maybe it's about right now, right here, right now, enjoying this place where you're at and loving this, loving now. So, the high performer, there's challenges with that, right? There's challenges with I want something out there, and we could talk about that too. We could talk about how you can be more present, how you can enjoy this right here, right now. So.
No, Brian, actually, I love. Thank you for sharing that tender moment with you and your daughter. Just maybe not who can resonate with that, but maybe didn't have the awareness to actually just slow things down and say, yeah, you know what, this is it. I will never get this moment like this ever again. And perhaps that's your level. And then where else in your life can you look around and say, I am missing these opportunities because it's great to be ambitious. It's great to be a go-getter, but at the cost of what sometimes? So it's not either your foot is on the brake, your foot is on the gas, but when do you know when to kind of slow down a little bit? Do you know when to speed up for the sake of what? And so before we wrap this up, just want to put this out there again. April 19th in Orlando, we're doing Iron Church Iron. We're getting 100 men there. Men who want to rise to the next level for themselves. And that level can be a variety of different things. For you, any man who may be watching right now, that could be, from the personal standpoint. It could be romantic, it could be business, it could be spiritual. We don't have the answer for what it means for you to be a man or how to be a good man or how to rise to level, but you will be in a container of professionals and experts and heartfelt leaders, men and women as well, who will create the opportunity for you to step into that. So if you have any questions about that, reach out to myself, Brian, Shelly, any of the speakers. If it comes to a point in time where any of you are saying, you know what, yeah, but it's just right now the way my account works around tax season and so forth and so on, reach out to us. We do not want for a moment that finance is going to be a reason why you're not going to be in attendance here, right? So this is going to be a gift to you. It's going to be a gift to your partner, a gift to your kids. When you step into a space like this, where you can just be held and seen, non-judgment, and just be authentic, and then be able to stretch and expand. Like, this is your place to do that, and then take it back out into your family, to your community, as a father, and so forth and so on. And so if you know of any sponsors out there, if any of you out there are business owners and you want to support the work that we're doing, we are gladly taking sponsors. We can expand this. We're working with youth programs. We're working with halfway houses to open this up to men who may not have the financial resources to be able to come for this. So if you want to participate in this, you don't want to necessarily, you don't see yourself being a participant, but you want to sponsor the event, also let us know as well. We'll get you involved. So before we wrap up, Brian, the man out there who's watching this, he's saying, you know what, this all sounds good, but I don't know. It just still kind of feels like it's just not my thing. Like, I have the call in here, but I don't know. It just sounds like maybe for those men who don't have it together. What would you say to me?
Maybe it's not your thing. Stay your ass home. Hey, listen, not everything is for everybody. Let's be 100. It's not everything is for everybody. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking, this may not be, it may not be for you. And that's cool too, right? But it may be for you. And you'll know if this is for you or if it's not for you.
Yeah, I love that answer. And so if you have that in you and you feel like there's something there, like, try it out. Come out, see us. If you're saying no, because you talked to me 8 years ago, I would have said this ain't definitely not for me. And that's okay. It is now. So, Brian, it's an absolute pleasure to drop in with you. Go ahead and check him out on his Instagram. Send him has quotes, not some quotes, but what I'm talking about. I'm on the job, so I got sales on my mind. Send me your questions, and we'll see you all April 19th. If you want to be a participant, if you have any kind of trouble with financial issues, we can probably help you out with that. If you're a sponsor, please let us know. But look, we're looking for 100 men in the greater Central Florida area and beyond. Check out Brian coming from New York, and we show a powerful day. Take it easy.